If I can give you specific times on when the market will move, would this help your trading? Now, in this presentation, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the important time windows that we use for trading and intro to the golden hour. If you've been following me on my Telegram or on any of my socials, I've talked about this briefly, and it was a concept that a lot of people wanted me to make a video about. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the very specific times and price that we can anticipate and how we can take time and price theory to a new level. Now, similar to this trade on gold, where I called for the private group, where I was able to predict where, but most importantly, when the market will move. And again, I talked about it here, watching this in Asia for price to head up to these objectives. And as we can see, price beautifully had that push up inside of the Asia session. Now, if you guys want trade ideas like this, make sure to join my public Telegram. The link is in the description below. Now, most traders have a difficult time with overtrading because they watch the charts for too long. And that is going to change today. We've all been guilty of it, where we're watching, especially the Forex market, where the market is open 24 hours throughout the week. And we're trying to trade, every single hour of the day. And we're trying to trade every single session. But in this video, I'm going to show you guys how we can drop that down significantly and how we'll be able to really maximize our opportunities while also minimizing our trade frequency and our trade time on the charts. Now, if you're new to the channel, these are some of the concepts I use to make multiple six figures in trading with multiple payouts, such as these. Again, these were all payouts that were done. The majority of these were actually like in the last few months, and these are just a few of the many payouts I was able to receive just from trading this type of system, as well as multiple other strategies that I have as well. Now, let's get into the presentation. For us, it's very important as traders to understand high volatility time windows. As day traders, we need volatility for us to profit. It's very hard for us to profit during consolidation. If any of you guys have traded during consolidation, you know how difficult it is and how you just want to pull your hair out. So we need volatility. Now, when we can identify when the markets will make our lives much easier and can create working hours for our trading. Done are the days where we're going to go ahead and overtrade, where we're watching all these different sessions, all these different times and price. Today, we're going to focus on what hours of the day the market has very specific volatility and what trading strategies and setups we can anticipate during those times. Now let's go ahead and identify key times and price. So we have key opening prices, right? We have the midnight opening price, which is the true open, which is 12 a.m. And again, these are all going to be in Eastern time. We have the London session open, which is 2 a.m. The New York session open, which is 7 a.m. Stock market open. So for those that are trading indices, that's about 9:30 a.m. And we have the London close open at 9 a.m. So these are just key opening prices for each session. And they all have their own importances. Now, what we're going to talk about today is something called the golden hour time window. Now, this is just a specific hour in price during each session that we can anticipate potential volatility. So for the London golden hour, we have 3 to 4 a.m. New York golden hour is 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And the London close golden hour is 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Now, inside these time windows, we can potentially anticipate specific moves in the marketplace. And not only that, but we can also anticipate a potential low or high of the session. And we're going to get into that in further illustrations. So if you guys have been around on my channel, or if you guys have been studying any form of SMC concepts, we're going to talk about the daily range. And then we're going to apply this into the lower time frames and into the session ranges. But however, let's just assume this right here is a daily bar, and this is a bullish bar. So we have the opening, we have the close, we have a high, and we have a low. The true open, which is at 12 a.m. Eastern time, is going to be the opening price that we use for the daily bar. Now, again, this is important because when we have the true open like this, we see that price potentially moves lower and then heads higher afterwards. So typically there was going to be some sort of manipulation move below the true open on potential bullish days. And during, again, here's another example where we have the true opening price sweeps below that true open, and then we head higher, and then the price closes bullish. So that's how we end up typically forming a bullish daily bar. So similarly, we understand every daily bar has an open, high, low, and close, but we can apply this to each session. So it's the same thing for London Open. So London Open, if we have the London Open range, and this could be the London Open range from like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever the case may be, there's going to be a specific range for every single session. So again, we have the opening price, which is 2 a.m. And think about it from this lens. If we're anticipating a bullish London open, we can anticipate price to go below that 2 a.m. into a potential key level, and then price has a rally higher. So let's go ahead and let's kind of look at a few examples of this. So again, here look, we have the 2 a.m. opening price. We have price sweeping below, and look at this right here. This is showing us that price is accumulating buy positions before the expansion move higher. Similarly, here on this specific day, price has that 2 a.m. opening price. We sweep below, and then price has that expansion move higher. So again, guys, when we're anticipating a potential bullish London open, this is the signature in price that we can kind of see in here, where we see a move below before the rally up. Now imagine, instead of waiting, let's just say from midnight to 1 o'clock, and now you can come to the charts around 2 and then look for this potential signature in price. Same thing for the New York Open. Because we understand that there's always going to be an open, high, low, close for each daily bar, each weekly bar, and even understanding the session, we're going to understand that this same phenomena occurs during the New York session. So we have the New York Open, which is 7 a.m. That's going to be our opening price. And again, if we're anticipating a potential New York Open bullish session, we're going to look for 7 a.m. for price to head lower first, and then price rallying further to close off the session. So again, similarly in here, we have the New York Open, 7 a.m. And here is plotted the 7 a.m. opening price. Price heads lower, pushes back up, and this will be the manipulation move. Again, similarly in here, we have 7 a.m. Look how price sweeps it, and then we have a nice engulfing bar here, if you guys know that concept. And then we end up having an expansion move and a rally. So again, every single session, every single candle is going to have an opening price. And what our goal is, if we're looking for bearishness, again, if we're anticipating a bearish candle, we look for the opposite. We'll look for a 7 a.m. opening price, push up, and then drop lower. Inversely, again, if it depends on multiple different biases on how we can anticipate whether the session is going to be bullish or whether the session is going to be bearish. But that is going to be for a different video. So make sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be dropping a lot more videos and adding onto this concept. However, I just want everyone to really grasp this concept that if we're anticipating a bullish New York session, a bullish London session, we can anticipate the opening prices to have a move below. Similar to the concept of power 3 on the daily candle, on a weekly candle. So remember, it's important to note that it's best to use this in conjunction with multiple SMC concepts to make sure you aren't trading any bar to maximize your potential earnings. When we have a higher time frame narrative and then we apply this, you guys will be able to find so many different trade opportunities, and not only trade opportunities, but your win rate will be higher. Your risk to reward will be much higher as well, because you're able to really get these sniper entries. Now, it's time for you guys to go ahead and backtest and find it out for yourself and how well this works. But before you do, and we're going to get into a few examples before we get out of the presentation, I'm going to head over to TradingView and we're going to look at a bunch of examples together. But make sure to subscribe and share this video with someone that this video can help. So again, my goal here is to help as many traders as possible here on YouTube and become the go-to channel for trading education that actually works. So much people are getting online and they're trying to, before they even learn, they're trying to teach right away and trying to build an online persona, online brand. I've had over 7 years of experience. I've shown through my public Telegram, which make sure you guys join, a bunch of trade ideas for free, a bunch of commentaries for free to show you guys that I actually have systems and strategies that I've worked on and optimized that actually work. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at a few of these examples that we just showcased in this video. So now let's go ahead and let's take a look at a few examples. So here is a chart on gold, and a lot of people ask me in terms of the time, which day it was. So this is actually on the 20th of September. So again, you guys can go back and actually study this for yourself as an example. But again, we have the 7 a.m. opening price. So let's just say we were anticipating a bearish New York Open reversal. And again, if you guys want me to make a video on daily profiles and session profiles, and when to anticipate a potential reversal for New York session, a potential consolidation, or a potential continuation, let me know, and let me know in the comment section, and I'll make that video, no problem. Now again, let's just assume that we were anticipating a potential New York Open reversal. So we wanted to look for a potential sell during the New York session. Now again, I have this delineated right here as the true opening price. And for those that are asking for the indicators, it's ICT kill zones plus pivots by TFO. And here are the settings for it, because I know a lot of people typically want to know the settings. It's actually a pretty cool indicator, and it's free as well. And you can kind of mark the true open, the 7 a.m. open, whatever opening price. This can all be adjusted. So again, we have the 7 a.m. opening price. Price then during inside of our golden hour. Again, this is why I want to see during the golden hour is some sort of like distribution or a move above. Now, some people say, how come over here, you wouldn't consider this a potential rally above the opening and then drop lower, right? Why isn't this considered, just a sell off from here? Because for me, and this is why I talked about in the beginning of the presentation, I need to see the move above during this time window, the golden hour. I'm going to make much more videos on the golden hour, so make sure, guys, to tune in. If you already saw my Instagram reel or you guys have been part of the email list, you would already know, why I prefer the 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. because of the 7 to 8 a.m. range. But again, if you're here on YouTube, make sure to join those channels because I talk about it more in depth and I will make more videos on it as well. So again, price, when we kind of play this further, look what happens here. Inside of our golden hour time window, price keeps rallying. And then typically you're going to see around that 8:30 mark, price is going to form a potential high for the session. And again, that's all we need is if we can anticipate a potential high inside of this golden hour time window, we can then look for potential downside objectives. So again, think of the power of three concept. This whole move up in terms of accumulation, right? We have the opening price, manipulation, and then what do we have on the last leg? Distribution. So we have this three-phase cycle that occurs in price. Now, what do we have here? We had the potential manipulation above the 7 a.m. price, anticipating potential sells. And we see what happens here. Price forms this fair value gap. Price forms a swing high. Now, some people say, but structure didn't necessarily break. This is when you can get like a fairly aggressive entry if you really understand what you're doing and you have a really great higher time frame narrative. Then we start to play it further. On the 5-minute, price starts to, again, reject. So now we're forming another swing high. So now we're seeing that the price is starting to reject off that 7 a.m. and side of the golden hour. And as we play this forward, we see that price now starts to have a bearish downside expansion. So again, we have this price point in here, the 7 a.m. And again, look how price even tested it and then, had a reaction off of it. But then we have a move above the 7 a.m. price, which is going to be our manipulation move when we're looking for bearish sells in the New York session. And then we see distribution. And again, let's just say you're someone who wanted to wait for some sort of confirmation or break below. We had this whole prior consolidation in here. So now that could be our potential retest sell on a lower time frame somewhere in there. And then we see price comes back into it. Again, look at how we retest the 7 a.m. price. So think of it from like, okay, we have the manipulation move, and now we have the next potential downside distribution. So again, you can even use these as somewhat support and resistance levels. I don't necessarily like to use it like that. I like to use it more so as the concept that we're having the manipulation move up, price breaks back down. We can use that as a retest, the consolidation area. And look at this beautiful distribution. So this is what we're anticipating for the New York session. So imagine you come into the charts every single day from 8 to 9 a.m. and you look for a specific signature in price and you have multiple different pairs and multiple different assets you're watching. Would this not help your trading? Again, when it comes to traders, we need to have focus. So if you can focus on a specific hour or 2 hours of the day and you look for a very specific setup, and if you don't see the setup, you walk away, guess what? Could you not make a living with this? Can you not just come to the charts on a specific time, catch great entries, and not have to be watching the charts all the time? Now, I'm going to take you guys through an example of a London Open session, and we'll go from there. Now, here's an example on GBP USD, and this is also on the 20th of September. So for those that want to go ahead and backtest. So again, what do we have here? We have the 2 o'clock opening price, and we also have the true open. Now, again, look what happens here. We also have the Asia session range for those that are familiar with that. And we see how price pushes above. Now, look, if we're anticipating a potential London open sell, what do we have here? We have the opening. Now we have the potential manipulation move higher. So let's see what happens inside the golden hour. So the blue shaded area is going to be our golden hour from 3 to 4 a.m. Eastern time. Now, when we play this further, we have price starting to show. Okay, again, right here, price is pushing up. So we're going to wait and see what happens. Beautiful. And then what do we have here? We have price starting to show potential rejection inside of the golden hour. And at this point in here, when price starts having that bearish momentum lower and this bullish fair value gap is now inverted and this did not hold in price, we now have something called a change in state in price. Price went from respecting bullish order flow to now we're not respecting it, and we have the potential on the reversal side of the curve. So now when we play this further, we start to see price heading back lower. And again, this is on the 5-minute time frame. price ends up retesting this prior order block in here. So this order block before the move up, which would be considered our breaker point. And we start to see price selling off. And again, we fill in this void and we retest that opening price. So again, this could also be used as a potential target, right? So if you have like a fair value gap here, this could be maybe a potential objective. Again, you could use these true opening price or whatever for price to retest that level as well. And again, even if you didn't get an entry in here, right? Once the golden hour passes from 3 to 4 and you get this retracement, you have this what? A unicorn setup where we have a fair value gap with this breaker point. Right, this was an order block that went up, swept liquidity, and we broke back below. So on this retest, this could be a potential entry there. And then you could just target this area in here, or if you wanted to target maybe some sort of liquidity that's resting below there. Now, in terms of trade management, like, I can make a whole separate videos on that. But again, guys, I want you to go back in your charts and I want you guys to backtest and study. And not only study the ones that work, but also study on like, okay, it works on the 5-minute. What was the narrative on the hourly time frame? What was the narrative on the 4-hour, daily, weekly? Because when you can combine this concept with those types of higher time frame narratives and models, it makes such a big difference. Now, again, if you guys made it to the end of the video, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to be posting a lot more videos, and I'll have a video very specifically detailing the golden hour setup and the golden hour ranges.